JP finally called. Woosung grinned. Is KND being funded by Japan? KND rumored to be sponsored by a hedge fund, J. Will Japan take over the Korean economy? The rumors were starting to surface. Woosung laughed at them. It's the opposite. I own Japan, not the other way around. Jang Guangchul walked into the office. This must be Daeng's doing. Woosung nodded. Probably. They are becoming so desperate. It's true. Many people think Daeng will slowly disappear. Woosung nodded again. The news channels continued to air the rumors. Japan may take over the Korean industries. The government needs to do something to stop it. President Kang Woosung needs to be investigated. These were all planned by Daeng. Jang Guangchul asked, so will you do something about it? I am waiting for the right time. When? When it gets huge. At that time, I will reveal the truth about Daeng and the government, which will end them. It will be devastating for them. I already have information on Choi Tae-min bad enough to send him to jail. Jang Guangchul's eyes widened. Jail. I just need to wait for the perfect time. At the top floor of Daeng building. Suk Ji-myung looked at Choi Tae-min in fear. Choi Tae-min said to him, Ji-myung. Yes, sir. You've been working at Daeng for 10 years now, right? Yes, sir. Why do you think you survived this long? Suk Ji-myung tried to think of the right answer, but he couldn't come up with anything. He answered honestly, it's because I worked very hard. Wrong. It's because you got things done, but I am starting to doubt your ability. I apologize. Choi Tae-min leaned back and replied, you didn't get the girl I wanted. You got someone else. I apologize. I am so stressed. I need a way to relieve it. Remember? Choi Tae-min threw his cell phone at Suk Ji-myung. Smack. Answer me. I'm sorry. What is wrong with you? I'm sorry. Get that girl now. I want her. Got it? Bit trading office. Choi Gichul called a few times, but there was no answer. Why the heck isn't he answering? Bitcoin, $176. The price was continuing to rise. It now almost reached $200. Some people believed it would reach $1,000. Choi Gichul bit his nails and murmured, I need to buy right now. He already spent 30% of his wealth on buying bitcoins. He bought them for $150. He already made over 10% profit. Young Jin-sup asked, so you really bought them? Choi Gichul nodded. Young Jin-sup asked, how much? I bought at $150. Won't you go in too? Young Jin-sup laughed, I will wait a little while longer. In truth, Young Jin-sup wanted to buy too, but he had no money. He only had debts, something Woosung would handle. Choi Gichul asked, when will you go in? When it goes over $200. If it does, I think it will reach $1,000. I will buy in bulks when it reaches $200. I see. It's just my guess, but it's a little different if someone like you gets involved. You could control the price. You have about $400 million available, right? Much less now because of Daeng's stock price. I don't know the specifics. I guess. But you are saying I could be the force that can influence the Bitcoin price? Yeah. Choi Gichul's eyes shined. Suk Ji-myung called different entertainment agencies, but all of them rejected him again. Chun Jisoo called him, the fact that you answered means you might be interested in what I offer. Shut up. I'll bet this call has already been reported to Choi Tae-min. You know how controlling he is. When Suk Ji-myung couldn't answer, Chun Jisoo continued, do you really want to wait and see what happens when Choi Tae-min goes after you? Suk Ji-myung listened silently. Chun Jisoo continued, he killed his own father. Remember that. $217.50. Choi Gichul glanced at Young Jin Sup. It could reach $1,000 quickly if I get involved. Choi Gichul had up to $300 million in cash. It was the money he received for giving the Daeyong shares to Woosung as collateral. With this money, he could buy about 10% of the bitcoins in the world. It might not be enough with only $300 million, but he had Daeyong. He could form a group with other companies. With his Daeyong background, there would be many companies who would be interested. With these companies' money, he knew he could really control the price of bitcoins. Why isn't Suk Jin-myung answering my call anyway? He had to ask Suk Jin-myung to see how much money he could get from Daeyong. Suk Jin-myung clenched his teeth in pain as Choi Gichul kicked him. Choi Gichul screamed, "Do you think you're better than me? Is that why you've been ignoring my calls?" "No, it's not like that. I've been very busy." "Busy? That's your excuse. Are you kidding me? I'm sorry. Damn it. Do you think I'm not busy myself? Do you know how much money I lost because of you? It's an amount you will never see in your lifetime." Suk Jin-myung lowered his face. Choi Gichul continued to scream, "It's over $30 million. Should I tell this to my brother?" Suk Jin-myung continued to apologize, "I'm sorry. You think apologizing is enough? Because of you, I was unable to make a purchase at the right time. How will you compensate me for this?" Suk Jin-myung remained silent. He glared at the floor. He was furious, but he couldn't express his anger. He finally replied, "I was too busy with the vice president's orders. I apologize. I will confirm the fund and transfer it to your account right away." Did you not hear what I just said? Because of you, I lost my chance. Do you know how much a Bitcoin is now? It's 314.40. And how much was it when I asked for the funds? It was 215.10. So you do know. The price went up by $100. What do you think will happen when I tell the vice president? The bigger problem is that the price is continuing to rise. Even as we speak. By the time you make the transfer, it would be even more expensive. How much money do you think I would lose? Choi Gichul pushed Suk Jin-myung and yelled, "Are you a mute? Why can't you answer?" Suk Jin-myung's face turned bright red. He trembled in anger. Choi Gichul continued, "To make up for it, you need to transfer at least $100 million instead of $50 million like my brothers ordered. Got it?" "Yes, sir." Choi Gichul left without a word. Suk Jin-myung sank into his chair. How did he get here? He stood up and grabbed his coat. Strong whiskey burned his throat. Suk Jin-myung continued to drink fast. He sighed deeply. He tried to figure out the situation. What should he do? Should he continue to work for Daeyong? Or should he leave and find another work? Should he accept Chun Jisu's offer and take Kang Woosung's side? There was so much to consider. Suddenly, someone sat next to him. "I heard they have a great whiskey here." Suk Jin-myung saw who it was and gasped. Woosung called for a bartender and ordered, "Please get me a bottle of whatever he is having." What the? Suk Jin-myung stared at Woosung. Woosung replied quickly, "We are just having a drink here. I don't think we have that kind of relationship." Suk Jin-myung tried to stand up and leave. Woosung replied, "No one will ever know about this meeting. There is no reason to let anyone know. I made sure of it." Suk Jin-myung sat down again. "I don't have a lot of time." Woosung replied, "I wasn't planning on staying long either." Woosung turned to the bartender and ordered, "Please close down the shop." The bartender nodded. When Suk Jin-myung looked around, the place was empty. Woosung said to him, "I heard a lot about you from Chun Jisu. He said you are a decent guy. Talented but happened to work for the wrong men. You're sugarcoating his words. I bet he said I'm the man who will get anything done. Woosung flinched and paused. That was almost exactly what Chun Jisoo said. Well, that's pretty close. This meeting. Choi Taemin will find out, and that means it's over for me at Daeyoung. Don't worry about that. I can make sure that doesn't happen. Suk Jinmyung's eyes widened. He asked, how long have you had spies in Daeyoung? That's not important. Then what is? Your life. Your future. Your decision today can change everything. What do you think will happen in my future? Woosung emptied his glass. Suk Jinmyung did the same. Woosung turned to him and replied, you will go to jail. Suk Jinmyung stared. What did Woosung know? Suk Jinmyung did so many vile things in his life. Any of them could get him in prison. Suk Jinmyung replied, you're being rude, sir. Can you deny it? What if I cooperate with you? Then I will help you as much as possible. I can give you one or two of Daeyoung's subsidiary companies. Did you make the same promise to Chun Jisoo? Woosung laughed, of course I promised him something even bigger. Subsidiary companies, not bad. Only because you're worth it. They talked for a while. After an hour, their bottles were empty. They were both becoming drunk and dizzy. Suk Jinmyung asked, can you prove you are different than Choi Taemin? Unless you convince me of that, I will never work for you. Suk Jinmyung left. Late night. After returning home, Woosung looked out the window. The beautiful view of the Han River greeted him. He was now living at a new penthouse in Seoul. Phew. His new home cost him $4 million, and he paid it full in cash. Millions of dollars didn't feel like money anymore. Woosung sighed, he wants a proof. Was Suk Jinmyung worth the trouble? Yes. He knew many secrets about Daeyoung. Woosung needed him. What could I do? Woosung drank a bottle of energy drink and sat in front of his computer. 13,240,321 BTC. 1 BTC $357. Woosung now had full control over the Bitcoin price. Choi Gichul got in at $150 and will go in further in the near future. When it reaches $1,000, he will go crazy. In the end, though, his account will be zero. Woosung clicked a few times to put an order for automatic transactions. In about a month, the price would reach $1,000. Woosung grinned darkly. A protest started in front of the KND headquarters. We need to get rid of this Japan-loving company. Kang Woosung is a traitor. Apologize. This company was funded by Japan. It needs to be destroyed. The securities tried to calm them down, but it was no use. Many protesters were in their 60s, and they screamed whenever restrained. Ow, these young men are trying to hurt this old man. I'm a frail old man. Leave me alone. Don't touch me. You're hurting me. Your parents would be ashamed of you. The securities couldn't do much. The KND employees frowned and complained as they watched the protest. Why isn't our CEO making an announcement? Was he really funded by Japan? Another staff replied, no way. I think it must be Daeyoung's doing again like the last time. But this time, JP was mentioned. Don't you know our CEO met with JP's CEO recently? But President Kang meets a lot of people. Do you really think he got funded by Japan through JP? If it's not true, why would our CEO remain silent? I don't know. Since Kang Woosung remained quiet, people started to believe the rumor. Jang Guangchul was frustrated. How long do we need to remain silent? As long as possible. The bigger this gets, the better it will be when we reveal the truth. Are things going well? It's going nice and slow. Can you tell me what they are? Woosung chose to not answer. He instead changed the subject. I looked into Suk Jinmyung's past and learned he was a good student. He went to the best schools with scholarships. These scholarships were funded by Daeyoung though. I guess he felt grateful to Daeyoung all his life. He had an unfortunate childhood. His parents were very poor. Daeyoung helped his entire family with their living expenses. I guess it wouldn't be easy for him to leave Daeyoung. But not hard either. Woosung replied with a grin. Last night, he managed to come up with a plan. He didn't have to convince Suk Jinmyung. He just had to make a situation where Suk Jinmyung had no choice but to leave Daeyoung. Choi Gichul grabbed the mouse. It was 547.00 just a minute ago. It has to go up. After getting $70 million from Daeyoung through Suk Jinmyung, he purchased the bitcoins at $555. He was losing money. Choi Gichul panted nervously. He stared at the screen. He was able to get other companies involved. As a group, they got in at $570. Again, he was at loss with this money too. Should I go in a little bit more? Choi Gichul murmured. Young Jin-sup asked, are you in deep? Choi Gichul nodded. Young Jin-sup continued, it doesn't look like it's going well. Because of Kang Woosung's rumor, the Bitcoin price dropped a little. It appears Kang Woosung and Bitcoin are connected. Young Jin-sup glanced at Choi Gichul and asked nervously, do you know what a cage technique is? What we can do is to pause the Bitcoin trading briefly at our bit trading website. This can pump the price. Choi Gichul's eyes widened. This will make the public traders want to buy more. We pause it, then sell some of our bitcoins at the highest price, then resume trading. Choi Gichul smiled in satisfaction. We will make an easy profit and also increase the number of transactions at our dealership, which means our company will make money too. Amazing. How did you think of this idea? It just came to me. It was actually an idea given to Young Jin-sup by Woosung. Choi Gichul urged him, great. Let's make an announcement today. That night, a notice was made at Bit Trading. Notice. Due to the expansion of network infra, Bitcoin trading will pause briefly. We will resume all transactions as soon as possible. That was the signal. As soon as the notice came up, the Bitcoin price jumped from $550 to $700. Quickly, it went up even higher to $1,000. Only at Bit Trading. Choi Gichul grinned widely. With this method, he managed to make $300 million in a very short period of time. This is so easy. How much did you make? Enough. I will buy you a drink soon. Then I will put up the resumption notice. Okay. Woosung saw the notice at Bit Trading. Perfect. Whatever bitcoins Choi Gichul sold, Woosung purchased them. Woosung got over 1 million bitcoins. He had some loss from these transactions, but it was minimal. Now, I will make him go crazy. The current Bitcoin price at Bit Trading was $700. Should I pump the price again? Woosung grinned. A Bitcoin was worth $560 at Bitmain. He would pump the price so it could reach the Bit Trading Bitcoin price. Choi Gichul entered Daeyoung confidently. $70 million from the company turned into $130 million. Choi Gichul expected Choi Taemin's shock at his success. Choi Gichul got into the elevator and went up to the top floor. Inside the office, Choi Taemin was screaming at Suk Jinmyung. Choi Taemin saw Choi Gichul and asked, you have my bitcoins, right? I made a profit of $60 million with your money. Choi Gichul replied confidently, but Choi Taemin's reaction was cold. Did you sell them? I sold at the highest price. If I sold any later, you would have lost money. Choi Taemin lowered his voice. At what price did you buy? If Suk Jinmyung did his job, I could have bought at under $200. I already heard about it. Just tell me the numbers. I bought at 550 and sold at 1000. Choi Taemin turned his computer screen and showed it to Choi Gichul. Do you see this? Choi Gichul nodded. Choi Taemin asked, how much is it now? $1,200. Who told you to sell my bitcoins? Why, you told me to buy. I told you to buy, but I didn't tell you to sell, did I? You sold my bitcoins without my permission. Suddenly, the screen beeped. 1 BTC $1,403.21. The price jumped $200 again. Choi Gichul became rigid and Choi Taemin sighed deeply. What do you think will happen? Choi Gichul hesitated. Choi Taemin answered instead. It will probably go to up to $2,000, maybe even $5,000. This means you basically made me lose money. How will you fix this? Choi Gichul couldn't believe this situation. He stuttered, I will invest again and make up the difference. Choi Gichul left the office. Suk Jin-myung looked at his cell phone in despair. He had no power in the entertainment industry anymore. The only place now for him to find a girl was in brothels. Damn it. Choi Taemin would be angry again, but Suk Jin-myung had no choice. He called a few prostitute madams with high-end call girls. Shockingly, he was rejected again. Sorry, sir, but my girls aren't available today. We are too busy today. Please call me later. We are at capacity. No one would help him. Damn it. Suk Jin-myung could guess who was behind this. He now had no choice but to call Kang Woosung. Suk Jin-myung sighed and said to Woosung on the phone, you can't do this. Woosung laughed lightly and replied, I just wanted to show you that I'm different. Don't you think I'm different? Suk Jin-myung sighed, this isn't the time to joke around. I made sure Choi Taemin can never abuse another girl in this country. You can call around, but no one will help you. The only thing you could do now would be to find someone from another country. Suk Jin-myung's hands trembled. He asked, are you really going to be like this? What else can I do? What did you think I was going to do? I told you last time, if you continue this path, there is only one possible future for you. You mean I'll end up in prison? Yes. Do you think you can convince me like this? Don't you think this will make me resist you even more? Do you still feel loyal to Dae-young? Suk Jin-myung didn't answer. Woosung continued, you have already repaid the scholarships you received from Dae-young. I don't understand why you are still there when you are being treated so horribly. Suk Jin-myung replied sarcastically, I see you have done your research on me. It's readily available information. I wouldn't call it research. Suk Jin-myung sighed again. The main thing now is that I will have to inform my Vice President Choi about this. If you tell him the truth, you know what will happen to you. Suk Jin-myung couldn't reply. He was fearful for his life. Woosung continued slowly, think carefully. Your future depends on it. 1 BTC $2,530. Woosung was controlling the price. 1 BTC $1,810. The price fluctuated heavily. People found this to be an attractive investment chance. If you got in at the right time, you could become rich. 1 BTC $2,781. Many people got in including Choi Gichul. Damn it. It's rising again. As the price went up and down, Choi Gichul became anxious. Damn it, why is it that when I buy, the price goes down and when I sell, it goes up? Choi Gichul didn't trust bitcoins. He expected it to plummet to zero someday, which meant he couldn't hold it for more than 2 days. If I lose money, Choi Taemin won't let it go. Since it was so expensive now, Choi Gichul and his group could no longer have a significant effect on the price. Choi Gichul wanted to escape from Choi Taemin, but unless he gave up everything, it was not possible. Would he do to me what he did to Choi Jae-tae? Choi Jaitai was in the hospital in a coma. Choi Gichul was afraid. When Choi Gichul walked out of the office, Chun Jisoo was waiting for him. He knew he was now Kang Woosung's man. Choi Gichul asked coldly, "What are you doing here? You haven't changed. I no longer work for Daeyang, so you can't talk to me like this." Choi Gichul sneered, "Ha. So what? I heard you are running a dealership. How's that going? I don't have to tell you. Listen, we both have something in common. We both want to escape from Choi Taemin's power." Choi Gichul paled. "President Kang is a decent man. You probably know that already." Chun Jisoo continued quickly, "He is intelligent, talented, and knows how to take care of his own people. Unlike someone we know. This is the only way." "Did Kang Woosung get Suk Ji Myung too?" Chun Jisoo laughed, "Unfortunately no. As you know, President Kang Woosung is aware of all your phone calls and activities. He makes decisions based on this information. He asked me to come and see you today. So what do you want? He told me to tell you that you need to make the right decision or else, you will end up like your brother Choi Jaitai." Choi Gichul visited Choi Taemin. "I will only keep $10 million for myself and give everything else to you, so please let me go." "Ha. I've never stopped you from leaving. This isn't a joke." "I'm not joking. No matter what happens, you will always belong to Daeyang. I want to be my own man. I will give up my shares of Daeyang." Choi Taemin laughed, "You know too much about me and this company. Don't you think so? There are only two ways for you to leave. Either become mute or brain dead. What do you think?" Choi Gichul bit his lips. He finally realized he could never escape Choi Taemin. April 11, 2012. 2 days before the 19th general election. The media released the rumors on the current president Lee Park-sung and the leader of Liberal Party Kim Young-hee. Quickly, the rumors turned out to be facts as proofs were released as well. A representative of the Democratic Party held a press conference. "With these proofs, you can be sure that President Lee Park-sung has lied so many times even before he became president. You can also see how Kim Young-hee has done many illegal deeds. How can we let these people run this country?" Lee Sung-hyun turned the TV off and sighed deeply. Those proofs shown on the TV were supposed to be hidden in a safe place. It must have been an insider who got to them and released them. Lee Sung-hyun tried, but he couldn't unravel the person behind all of this. "By the way, why aren't these people answering my calls?" Hwayoung Law Firm's attorney Park Chang-sun. Joseon Law Firm's attorney Jo Namji. Daryuk Law Firm's attorney and Soo-hyun. He needed the best lawyers to defend his father, but no one was answering his calls. Lee Sung-hyun asked a liberal member who was sitting next to him, "So what is the party doing to resolve this situation?" The Liberal Party member stammered, We plan on making it look like the opposition is plotting against us with lies, but we may still lose this election. We need to make sure that doesn't happen. But the situation is very serious. This could be bad. Damn it. What happened to the request we made to Daeyang for election funds? They said they aren't doing well themselves, so they only sent $500,000. That's nothing. We were told that if we give up more information on Kang Woosung, they will give another $500,000. But we have no more information. Then what should we do? We need to meet him. Who? The man who owns all the best lawyers in the country. Woosung said on the phone harshly, "All of my lawyers are tied up at the moment with patent lawsuits." Lee Sung-hyun replied angrily, "Are you really going to be like this? Everyone knows you hired all the best lawyers available in the country. There isn't anyone left. I'm just telling you the truth. I have many ongoing patent lawsuits with different companies like Apple and Daeyang. Are you telling me I should just lose? Were we always on such bad terms like this? Not at first, but that was the past. I did my best to help you, yet you are the one who betrayed me. You sided with De Young. Are you still on that? I have a very good memory. When Lee Sung-hyun didn't reply, Woosung continued, it's not that I want our relationship to continue like this. I would like to be on good terms with you. Tell me. I heard De Young was recently rumored to be involved in an illegal split accounting, but the government let it go. I keep asking for fair treatments, yet the government keeps doing things like this. Are you asking me to suspend De Young? A $40 billion company? Woosung laughed, no. How would I accomplish something like that? All I'm asking is if an illegal deed was done, whoever did it must be punished. Fairness is all I ask, as always. I will consider it. You can do whatever you want. I will continue to do whatever I want too. Lee Sung-hyun couldn't say anything despite Woosung's rudeness. He was now afraid of Woosung. The general election results. Democrats won by a landslide. Lee Park-sung moaned, how did they find out about our past? Did you find out who's behind this? Lee Sung-hyun couldn't say anything. Lee Park-sung grimaced. Damn it, you're a disappointment. Why can't you do better? Lee Sung-hyun bit his lips without answering. Lee Park-sung asked, and you still haven't found a decent lawyer? No, Kang Woosung has most of them. Then did you get someone to take the blame? Not yet. Can't you do anything? I'm sorry. That's not good enough. This is serious. The prosecutors have the proofs. All we can do now is fight for the legality of it, and to do that, we need an amazing lawyer. Lee Sung-hyun bit his lips. Lee Park-sung continued quickly, if you can't do it, I will take care of it. We don't have the time to be lazy. We need to resolve this now. I will try. Lee Park-sung looked at his son doubtfully. He said to Lee Sung-hyun, I will give you 3 days. If you don't accomplish something big by then, you are off the case. Yes, sir. Lee Sung-hyun bowed and left. A restaurant in Seoul. Democratic Party leader Han Mingu couldn't help smiling. Ha ha ha. We won. We got 167 seats. The most we've ever had in history. Lee Myunjin took a sip of his drink and replied, I still feel uncomfortable. Are you still thinking about that? We owe him now. We can pay him back slowly. If this continues, we can take over the government. Lee Myunjin emptied his glass. I'm just afraid this debt to him will cause trouble in the future. Don't worry. I took care of it. Suddenly, Woosung talked in, you two have nothing to worry about. I took care of everything. Han Mingu stood up and greeted Woosung. Oh, you're finally here. He grabbed Woosung's hands. Woosung smiled brightly. Congratulations. It's all thanks to you, President Kang. I will never forget this. Everyone worked very hard. It wasn't just me. Lee Myunjin put down his glass and asked, what happened? Did you forget what I said to you before? Woosung replied, I remember. Remembering isn't enough. I know what you mean. It's you who don't understand. Lee Myunjin glared at Woosung and asked, are you kidding me? I'm telling you that you just need to do your job faithfully. Han Mingu watched the two men uncomfortably. He poured a drink for Lee Myunjin and said to him, come on, don't be angry. Woosung picked up his glass and asked with a smile, could you pour me one too? Haha, of course. It's my honor to be drinking with the world-famous Kang Woosung. Woosung emptied his glass and replied, I don't want much. I just want fairness and transparency, that is why I chose the Democratic Party. If you can accomplish that, then it would be enough for me. Woosung was suggesting that the Democrats won because he made it happen. Both politicians understood immediately. Han Mingu laughed, I know. Woosung took another sip and continued, there is a rumor that De Young was involved in an illegal split accounting. The government let it slide without even an investigation. KND was investigated so many times in the last 2 years. Please look into his. That is all I have to say. Woosung left quickly. The two men looked at each other rigidly. Woosung's empire continued to grow quickly. Zhang Guangchul announced, this quarter's sales reached over $60 billion. Earning surprise. Woosung nodded calmly. Zhang Guangchul continued, and you know what else? Coconut sales reached over $2 billion. That's right. It's higher than Facebook. We will soon become the best SNS service in the world. I already knew that. With these numbers, do you know what this means with respect to Korean GDP? Our companies now makes up over half of it. Exactly. It means we now control the Korean economy. I like that. It could be even better since this quarter's result didn't include Sungyeong and BMW performances. On top of that, we are doing an amazing job in China too. Our Chinese sales have reached over $10 billion. We are growing at a 40% rate. In 5 years, we should be reaching $100 billion. That would mean at some point, we will make up over 70% of the GDP. Now, what's next? First, we need to destroy Daejeon and take over their sales. That will make our own sales to reach $700 billion. Zhang Guangchul's eyes shined brightly. 1 BTC $3,210. The Bitcoin frenzy reached the entire world. Choi Gichul stared at the screen and murmured, it could really reach $10,000. Did you buy more? Yeah, about $70 million. Young Jinsup's eyes widened. He asked, at what price? Between $1,500 to $2,000. This meant Choi Gichul made a lot of money. He murmured, you were wrong. It reached $300. Will it reach $10,000? I don't know anymore. It could. What do you think? I think $10,000 seems too high. I disagree. If this continues, it will reach $10,000, but what's really important is to escape from Choi Taemin. Choi Gichul wondered if this cryptocurrency could allow him to accomplish that dream. Choi Gichul asked Young Jinsup, can we pause the trading again on bit trading? Technically, we can do it whenever we want, but if we do it too often, we will get complaints from the users. So we shouldn't use it too often. Exactly. Choi Gichul rubbed his chin. After the conversation with Choi Taemin, he hasn't been able to sleep. Should he run to Kang Woosung and ask for help? Or should he try to save himself? Choi Gichul knew he had to do it on his own or else, it could backfire. I will use all the funds from Daejeon and make money by investing in bitcoins. I will then transfer the profits into my personal Bitmain account. Choi Gichul continued to think. But then what? I could convince Suk Ji-myung to give me some proofs on Choi Taemin. I will send Choi Taemin to jail. That's probably what Kang Woosung wants too. That must be why he sent Chun Jisoo to me. Choi Gichul's breath became shallow. Young Jin-sup stared at him, but Choi Gichul didn't notice and continued to think. Kang Woosung could probably send Choi Taemin to prison easier and faster than I can. Does this mean I need to ask him for help after all? Phew. Yes, I think that's for the best. Choi Gichul called Woosung. He was shocked when he heard the message. This phone number does not exist anymore. Please dial the correct number. This phone number does not exist anymore. Please dial the correct number. He changed his phone number. Now there was no way for him to contact Woosung. After thinking, he headed towards the Korean Business Agency building. He had to meet with Woosung and resolve this situation. When he entered the office, Choi Gichul was met with Chun Jisoo instead of Woosung. Chun Jisoo explained, President Kang is busy. I am taking care of his business for now. So Kang Woosung won't even meet with me in person? Chun Jisoo stretched his arms and replied, you are not as important anymore. Choi Gichul gritted his teeth. His pride was hurt, but there was nothing he could do. It was true, Kang Woosung was now beyond his reach. Chun Jisoo said to him, did you decide to leave Daeyoung? Chun Jisoo asked slowly, can you really protect me? Haha, of course. Chun Jisoo pushed the interphone button on his desk. Beep. Several men in black walked in. Chun Jisoo explained, we will double your bodyguards and install security systems in your house. We will monitor everything you do. What about my assistant from Choi Taemin who follows me around everywhere? What do you want us to do? We can shut him up or we can get rid of him. Choi Gichul swallowed. He hadn't realized how powerful Woosung was. Chun Jisoo continued, all you have to do is bring us the smoking gun. That's all we ask of you. Choi Gichul was furious at Chun Jisoo's disrespect, but he had no choice but to leave. When he left, Chun Jisoo murmured quietly, did you hear all that? His cell phone was turned on the whole time. A voice answered, I see that a lot has changed. I can't believe I used to work for that idiot. You must know by now that the faster you make your decision, the better treatment you will receive from us. I know. If you stay at Daeyoung, you will be used as a scapegoat. You have already done more than you needed to for Daeyoung. I understand what you're saying. So what is your decision? I am just not sure if Kang Woosung is someone I can trust. I could end up in a worse situation. Suk Jin-myung couldn't trust anyone easily. He couldn't believe Chun Jisoo either. Chun Jisoo replied, I understand what you are feeling. We have never been close. I understand you would be worried and afraid, but think of it this way, you already know what will happen if you stay at Daeyoung, and it's not pretty. Suk Jin-myung had never regretted working for Daeyoung until now. Chun Jisoo continued, technically, wasn't it Chairman Choi Gun-won who gave you the scholarships? What happened to him? Suk Jin-myung's heartbeat started to hasten. He felt thirsty. Chun Jisoo raised his voice. He harmed his own father. What are you expecting from him? After a quick hesitation, Suk Jin-myung finally gave his answer. Dark night. Lee Sung-hyun was brought to Woosung to a secret place in Sungbuk-dong. When he walked in, Woosung didn't even stand up. He asked, have a seat. Lee Sung-hyun sat down nervously. Woosung was being rude, but it was clear who was the boss in this room. Woosung continued, I heard you have something to say to me. These are the documents on Daeyoung. The prosecutors have been keeping these a secret. Woosung's lawyer approached them and took the envelope from Lee Sung-hyun. He examined them quickly. The lawyer was someone Lee Sung-hyun knew. Prosecutor Go. What are you doing here? He didn't get an answer. Woosung also remained silent. Lee Sung-hyun continued, I see that you hired many people. Tell me what you came to say. You have been invited to the Blue House as soon as possible. You will get everything you want. We could give you an award. We can help you with your business any way you want. I don't need any help with my business. I wasn't planning on saying this, but... Then you shouldn't. Lee Sung-hyun reddened. He yelled, I can destroy both of us. I don't understand what you're saying. If you continue to be like this, I will let people know that you bribed me. I am done for anyway, and I can drag you down with me. Woosung laughed loudly, is that it? You're really going to threaten me with that? I will do anything to fix this situation. Haha. This is why you can never trust a politician. Good thing I never trusted you. Lee Sung-hyun paled. Woosung leaned back into the sofa and continued, you must have not understood this situation. The government will always change, but the rich and powerful will always remain the same. Lee Sung-hyun couldn't deny this fact. Woosung added, money rules the world, and who has the most money? That would be me. No one can touch me. So if you're threatening me with our past bribery, go ahead. Do it. You will see who gets destroyed. Lee Sung-hyun stammered, I didn't mean it like that. I meant we should try to get along. I heard it as a threat. You are a lawyer. You know what it sounds like. Lee Sung-hyun couldn't hide his anxiety. He has never been treated his way, especially since his father became the president of Korea. As the tension rose, Woosung's lawyer said to him, Sir, the documents are legit. With them, we should be able to carry out our plan. Good. Lee Sung-hyun asked hopefully, does this mean you'll help me? I am willing to talk to you, but that's it. Of course, you did just threaten me, so I'm not sure if I should help you. Lee Sung-hyun gritted his teeth. Woosung asked Lee Sung-hyun bluntly, how can I trust you after that threat you just gave me? Lee Sung-hyun had difficulty controlling his anger, but as he looked into Woosung's eyes, Lee Sung-hyun knew there was nothing he could do. $400 billion in sales last year. $600 billion expected this year. Woosung was the biggest businessman in the world. Compared to him, Lee Sung-hyun was a nobody. Lee Sung-hyun replied, what can I do to gain your trust? You must have more information on Daeyoung. You mean? I want everything the government has on Daeyoung. You know my goal is to destroy Daeyoung completely. If I give you everything, will you make my problems go away? Woosung grinned. Think about it. If a huge company like Daeyoung gets exposed, will the media and the public even remember the current political scandal? Lee Sung-hyun's eyes widened. Woosung continued, you bury a scandal with another scandal. It's a common technique in politics. As you said, I have the majority of this country's lawyers on my side. I can provide you with a few. The trial will end quickly and quietly as if nothing happened. People will focus on Daeyoung. All of this can be accomplished if you give me what I want. Lee Sung-hyun swallowed. It was an attractive offer. Lee Sung-hyun asked, do you promise? If I bring you everything, you will make this go away. When Woosung nodded, Lee Sung-hyun sighed in relief. After Lee Sung-hyun left, Woosung asked his lawyer, how long do you think Choi Tae-min will remain in prison with these proofs? Attorney Go Ji-hoon. He used to be one of the main prosecutors in the government. I think about 2 years. On probation? Go Ji-hoon nodded. Woosung wasn't satisfied. It wasn't enough. Go Ji-hoon continued, at most, he would get 5 years, but he will be let go on probation soon after. So we need much more. If Lee Sung-hyun provides something really good. Woosung's eyes shined. Suk Jin-myung. Choi Gichul. If these two men brought him more proofs. Woosung replied, I understand. When he was left alone, Woosung turned on his computer. I got the price of Bitcoin to reach $4,301. Some companies are trying to accumulate them, but they can never compare to me. I will pump the price to its highest and sell everything. Then, I will launch Coconut Coin as an official cryptocurrency. Bitcoin's price would plummet. The key was to make sure Choi Gichul and Choi Tae-min hold a significant number of Bitcoins when it does. I can't wait to see Choi Gichul's face when he loses everything. According to Young Jin-sup, Choi Gichul continued to buy Bitcoins. Woosung looked at his watch. It was midnight, which meant it was around 2 p.m. in New York. As expected, Woosung's cell phone rang. It was JP's Jeremy. Did you make a decision? How much did you spend on the lobbyists? Billions. Woosung continued, I'm not asking people to give up dollars. I am just planning to replace it. Isn't that the same thing? Giving up is different than replacing. But with the new replacement, US will lose its control. Woosung laughed and replied, I don't expect this project to succeed without America's cooperation. If you decide to side with me, I will try to make sure you retain your control and value. Try. Alright. I will make sure no other country will be above you. However, Woosung will still be on the top. Jeremy asked, what will happen if JP refuses? What if the US government and banks refuse as well? Woosung replied calmly, the US government has already partially accepted my project. In addition, many of the old and new companies in Silicon Valley are already using this currency. Will America give up on all these companies? Woosung laughed and continued, I am the one who saved Silicon Valley after the financial crisis. I was the one who invested over $10 billion on the manufacturing factories in Silicon Valley. I also own the most shares of the startup companies there. Jeremy remained silent. Woosung continued, and it is also me who can move all these from Silicon Valley to Israel. Do you know how will this affect the US? I think you do. Also, do you know who the biggest trader in Nasdaq is? Jeremy didn't say anything. He knew now. He also realized that Woosung owned Right Capital too. Woosung added, I own a huge part of the American economy. If I take all of it and move to somewhere else, JP will be damaged big time. You know all this already. Isn't that why you called me? After a long pause, Jeremy finally answered, I want to talk to you about some details. Daejeong Hospital. Chairman Choi Gun-won and Choi Jae-tae were both in a coma. Choi Gi-chul visited them. Looking at his father, Choi Gi-chul murmured, did you really not expect something like this to happen? Beep. Beep. Hook up to various machines, Choi Gun-won remained still. Choi Gi-chul bit his lips. You are the one who made us the way we are. Why did you do it? Again, Choi Gi-chul got no answer. He continued quietly, I plan to go a different way now. I won't follow your path anymore. Even if it means I destroy everything you built. Choi Gi-chul glared at his father with resentment. Beep. Beep. The machines continued to beep regularly. Choi Gi-chul moved to the next room where Choi Jae-tae was in a similar state. Choi Gi-chul murmured, crazy idiot. Looking at his helpless brother, Choi Gi-chul didn't feel sympathetic. He just felt relieved that he was free from his abusive brother. Choi Gi-chul continued to murmur, someone like you should have died. Choi Gi-chul remembered being beaten up by Choi Jae-tae as a child. He used to pray for Choi Jae-tae's death. His wish was finally about to come true. I will take everything you have. Beep. Beep. Choi Gi-chul walked out of the room. After leaving the hospital, Choi Gi-chul headed towards a place in Sungbuk-dong. It was the same place where Lee Sung-hyun visited Woosung recently. Someone guided Choi Gi-chul to the living room where Woosung was sitting on a sofa. Woosung ordered, sit. When Choi Gi-chul sat down quietly, Woosung asked, so you have something to tell me? Chun Jisoo arranged this meeting. Choi Gi-chul asked, if I give you Choi Tae-min's weakness, what can you give me in return? Oh, so you want to trade with me? Choi Gi-chul nodded. He took out his phone and showed Woosung a photo. It was a picture of Choi Gun-won in the hospital. How about this? It can't be proven. There is no solid proof. I will get you the proof. In return, protect me and my wealth. Woosung laughed, but there is one problem. I'm not interested in your offer. Choi Gi-chul paled. He begged Chun Jisoo for this meeting, yet Woosung seemed unwilling to help him. Woosung suddenly pressed a button on the table. If I give you Choi Tae-min's weakness, what can you give me in return? It was Choi Gi-chul's own voice from a recording device. Woosung asked, if I take this recording to Choi Tae-min, what do you think will happen? Choi Gi-chul stood up and screamed, you bastard. Suddenly, a large hand grabbed Choi Gi-chul's shoulder from behind. It was one of Woosung's bodyguards. Choi Gi-chul was thrown back onto the sofa. Woosung said to him, be careful. He is a very scary man. He used to be in the special forces. Choi Gi-chul swallowed. He was sweating. He glanced around the room nervously. Choi Gichul stammered, what do you think you're doing? Do you not know who I am? I know very well, but do you know who I am? President Kang Woosung. Every Korean knows who you are. Not that. Woosung wanted to say it, but this wasn't the time. Choi Gichul replied, the richest man in the world. Woosung grinned. And? Choi Gichul finally realized that Woosung was making fun of him. Choi Gichul frowned and replied, this isn't the time for jokes. That's your problem. You know how it is. When you reach a certain status, everything becomes boring. You need to seek fun wherever you can. Of course, I'm not saying I reject your deal completely. I will think about it. Now leave and wait for me. Daeyoung Electronics 103.10. Daeyoung stock price plummeted further. Unsurprisingly, KND's stock continued to soar. Then, breaking news flashed on the television. J.P. Jeremy announces an investment of billions of dollars in Daeyoung Electronics. Breaking news, J.P. takes over 20% of Daeyoung Electronics. Over $10 billion invested. Suddenly, Daeyoung stock started to go up quickly. Choi Tae-min finally smiled. We are finally out of the woods. Yes, sir, but it's only a temporary solution. If we don't launch a successful cell phone and improve our semiconductor department, we will return to our earlier situation quickly. Our next cell phone line will be a success, which will help our semiconductor department. Suk Ji-myung frowned and replied, but the problem is whether or not we can survive till then. In addition, 70% of Daeyoung Electronics now belongs to foreign companies. We are basically a foreign company at this point. What if one or two of them give up on us? Choi Tae-min glared at him. It sounds like you want me to fail. It's not like that. It's my job to get prepared for the worst scenario. Your most important job is to relieve my stress, and you are doing a very poor job nowadays. Suk Ji-myung breathed deeply. He needed to calm down. He replied, I apologize. If you're sorry, then do a better job. I need to not be stressed out so I can do a better job to save Daeyoung. Now leave me and find me someone. It better be someone good. Choi Gichul was waiting for him when Suk Ji-myung returned to his office. He had his legs up on the desk. He said to Suk Ji-myung, I see that you got lectured by my brother again. What are you doing here? You must have a lot of worries nowadays. It must be hard working for that bastard. I thought perhaps I should help you from becoming his biggest victim. Suk Ji-myung's face paled. Choi Gichul threw an envelope at him. Have a look. Suk Ji-myung's hands trembled as he read the report. It was a plan in case Daeyoung was implicated for an illegal account splitting. The key to this plan was Suk Ji-myung. The plan is for you to be the whistleblower, and I can be your savior. Choi Gichul stood up and continued, get me Choi Tae-min's secret funds in Switzerland and Virgin Island. I will make big profits from them. He will never know. Then what will happen to me? You will become rich. How will you survive Choi Tae-min's anger? Choi Gichul lowered his voice. I have a way. You know President Kang, right? Suk Ji-myung nodded. Choi Gichul continued, he promised to protect me. Choi Gichul grinned. Suk Ji-myung lowered his eyes and thought. Just how many people did Kang Woosung ask? When Suk Ji-myung remained silent, Choi Gichul asked, you're in, right? What if I say no? Choi Gichul handed him another envelope. As Suk Ji-myung read the documents, his eyes widened once again, but this time in shock. It contained all the illegal things he did for Daeyoung over the years. Choi Gichul explained, my father always said we need to have a good record of everything just in case. He gave this to me before he became ill. Suk Ji-myung slowly replied, I understand. Choi Gichul grinned brightly. Good. You can expect to be rewarded a huge amount of cash for your cooperation. Let's work together. Choi Gicho left. Suk Jin Myung sat down. It was over. He knew what he had to do. Suk Jin Myung opened his cabinet drawer. 1 BTC $6,310. November 2017. Jiang Guangchul checked the Bitcoin price on his phone and asked Woosung, "Tell me the truth. How many Bitcoins do you actually have?" "Probably the most in the world." "What? You asked me to tell you the truth." So how many would that be?" "1 million. Woosung shook his head. Jiang Guangchul asked again, Then 5 million. Woosung shook his head again. "Why, you mean 10 million. It's not important. It's time to attend Korea's first civilian satellite launch." 4 black helicopters flew from Seoul to South Jeolla province where the Space Launch Center was located. Riding in one of the helicopters, Jiang Guangchul asked Woosung, "Woosung, isn't this a little too much?" Our safety is always my priority. We need to be careful. We are responsible for so many employees. But 4 helicopters seem too much. 3 just for our security. This is Korea after all. This is how the president flies. This way, whoever may attack us won't know which one holds us. But 4 Black Hawks seem way too much. Woosung smiled. This is also to show off to someone. Who? The president of Korea is coming to this event. I'm showing him I'm not someone he can play with. To show him who's the boss. Woosung nodded. Narrow Space Center. The 4 helicopters arrived. President Lee Park-sung, who was waiting in the VIP room, saw this and asked, "Those are all for Kang Woosung?" His head of security answered, "Yes. One holds him and the others hold all his bodyguards." Is he that important of a figure? Recently, President Kang Woosung has been busy meeting with leaders of different countries and financial institutions to discuss the application of cryptocurrency. The US has been unhappy about this and that must be why Kang Woosung reinforced his security team. Lee Park-sung smirked. Who does he think he is? According to our research, Kang Woosung knows the direct phone number to the President of United States. Just the fact that he plans to replace the dollar system. His financial power is greater than those of many of the businessmen from different countries. According to IMF, President Kang Woosung's value is. The president's secretary was interrupted by Lee Park-sung. "Stop." Lee Park-sung glared at him. Woosung and Jiang Guangchul got off the helicopter. Jiang Guangchul looked around awkwardly. "I don't think I will ever get used to this." You are the CEO of XFeed and the vice president of KND. You're worth it. But this is. 10 intimidating bodyguards surrounded them. Woosung replied, "This just means we are important." The president's secretary approached them. Woosung's bodyguards stopped him and only let him pass after Woosung nodded. The secretary asked, "Sir, the president would like to speak with you." Woosung nodded and said to Jiang Guangchul, "Go ahead without me. I will see you soon." Jiang Guangchul nodded slowly. Lee Park-sung said to Woosung coldly, "I see that you like to show off. I am only doing what suits my current status. You need to remember the importance of modesty. I'm not like you." Lee Park-sung frowned and replied, "It feels like every time we meet, you become more and more stubborn." Woosung grinned. "Probably because I am on my way up, and you are going down, President." Lee Park-sung glared at Woosung. "You better watch it." Woosung glared back at him and replied, "Did you bring me here to insult me? If so, this conversation is over. Being seen with a president who is known for corruption and has only a 30% approval rating is not good for my reputation." Lee Park-sung clenched his fists, but that was all he could do. He relaxed and replied, "I didn't mean to upset you. I wanted to confirm you had an understanding with my son, Attorney Lee." "Yes. I'll let him know what I need. You will get what you asked for." The government will also be rewarding you with an award for your good business ethics and space research. Woosung nodded indifferently. Lee Park-sung frowned and asked, "What do you think? This should be enough to convince you to help us. Your secretary already explained this to me. You want me to announce an increase in employment and investments." Lee Park-sung nodded. Woosung continued, "I was going to do that anyway, so it shouldn't be a problem." "Haha, good. Let's forget our past and become friends again." Woosung shook his head. "This doesn't mean I want to be your friend." Lee Park-sung's face darkened. Woosung continued quickly, "I need to get going now." Narrow Space Center Conference Hall. It was filled with countless reporters. Some TV stations were airing the event live. "Hello. This is MBD's reporter, Lee Sung-hyun. I am at Korea's very first civilian satellite Tiger XS launch. This satellite was created by President Kang Woosung's company, Space Dream, with the help from SpaceX." The reporter continued quickly, "In 10 minutes, the satellite will be launched. This place is filled with tension and anticipation. President Kang Woosung is currently in the VIP room watching the event with President Lee Park-sung." Lee Park-sung asked Woosung, "What do you think? Will it be a success? I hear the technology is very complicated." "It will work. The technology will also be applicable to communications and military fields. We'll see." Finally, the countdown commenced. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. With a loud noise and vibration, the rocket lifted off to the skies. KND 1100.30. KND was currently worth over $310 billion. With the recent satellite success, its stock price rose at an unprecedented rate. 1 BTC 7,501.10. Bitcoin prices also continued to increase. Choi Gichul sighed as he logged on to his Bit trading account. 110,010 BTC. He purchased bitcoins with the money Suk Jin-myung stole from Choi Tae-min. Choi Gichul spent a lot of time money laundering through purchasing and selling of bitcoins. "If I can keep this up, I will end up with billions of dollars." He felt hopeful. He also felt grateful to Young Jin-sup, who was sitting next to him. If it wasn't for Young Jin-sup creating this dealership, this would have never been possible. "I'll buy him a drink. That should be enough." Choi Gichul clicked to a coin information website. He had been thinking about the cryptocurrency mining machines. Instead of collecting bitcoins, Choi Gichul was thinking about mining himself. "Should I create a mining company?" Choi Gichul wondered in all seriousness. Choi Gichul asked Young Jin-sup, "Hey, do you know about cryptocurrency mining?" Young Jin-sup nodded. "Of course. It's really popular nowadays. I heard mining graphic cards have been sold out. What if we use the mining machine Ant7 from Bitmain? As you know, many people got into mining recently. It won't be easy. What do you know about cloud mining?" Choi Gichul had a lot of questions. Young Jin-sup opened the Bitmain website on the computer and explained, "I bought hash power from this website and used it myself. I have been getting a decent profit so far, but I made more with bitcoins." "So you're saying it's legit? Money always gets deposited on time, so I guess so." I see. Why? Are you interested? I was wondering how to expand our business, and I think this might be the way. I guess it's not a bad idea." When Choi Gichul nodded, Young Jin-sup asked, "But where will we get the money for it? The initial cost will be significant." "We'll find a way." Choi Gichul smiled confidently. He had plenty of money now. Young Jin-sup pointed at the TV where Woosung's speech was being aired. "Well, Kang Woosung is deep in this industry, so I'm sure it's safe. The faster we get started, the better." On the stage, Woosung said to the crowd calmly, I would like to first thank my Space Dream team for making this launch into a huge success. The audience applauded.